Happy Monday, guys. It has been a minute since we've done a vlog. I need to get a coaster for the closet for as much as I kind of use that area for drinks, but we're gonna get ready quickly this morning. We have a nail appointment and I am half set on what I want to do. I always go through and kind of look at all of the different inspiration. I kind of take a moment to ask myself, what do I really want? Sometimes I take into consideration with anything we're kind of shooting. Sometimes it ends up being one of the things where my mind feels really chaotic, or it feels like things are just really overwhelming and I want a very simple design because it reflects like my ability to just control things more easily. But today I have a feeling that it's going to be a little bit different. I've looked through so many Pinterest designs. A lot of times I do that ahead of time just because I need to be able to send them to my nail artist and make sure that she's comfortable with stuff and that she's a little bit of time to kind of think about what colors in their collection might work, or if we need to kind of get creative with it, or if we need to create something a little bit different. It just makes it a little bit easier. Also, if there's anything that I think is less difficult that's actually more difficult, you know, it just makes it a little bit better of a process. What is happening right now? I really don't know. There's a hair somewhere and I can only feel it, but I can't actually see it. But that being said, we're gonna go get nails sorted this morning and I'm thinking we're gonna do something with like a purple. I was thinking that I wanted to do a French on my fingers, like a very thin French. One of the nice things about having almond nails is I can do that more delicate French and it just makes everything look a little bit longer. It makes your fingers look more elongated. If you feel like you don't like the way your fingers look, it can make them look more slender. But I also just feel like it makes it look a little bit more elegant than a thicker French. And I was thinking of doing that, but I need to look at the sticker book. That is one of those things. I've been thinking about trying to do a few more looks with like stickers. That way you guys can get them more easily. If that was something that you wanted to take to somebody who you feel like maybe is kind of okay at nails, but isn't quite as accessible, or you want something that you can kind of do at home. So we'll see what's in the sticker book. In my mind, we're doing like light purple kind of pointed French, and then if I remember correctly, there are a couple of different like variations of flowers, and some of them have a little bit more texture and they look like just more elevated on the finger because they're like elevated in elegance, but elevated in like a practical sense because they are actually a bit thicker and they don't look like a sticker. Like they look more like a dried flower on the finger. So I might kind of play with that. But then the other thing that I've been thinking about doing is kind of taking some time to do a spring closet reset. Okay, let's get out of the car this morning, but there is no way that I will be functioning without the Georgia energy drinks this morning. I am so flippin' tired today. It is the next day. I am wearing my Asics today. I love these shoes. I really struggled with shin splints for the longest time, and one of the things that I found kind of chatting with physical therapists and just learning my body a bit more is that I have higher arches, so I need something that kind of navigates supporting that, but having the ankle stability that's required is very important for me. I have my Hoka sitting on the ground behind you, and honestly, they just are not my favorite to run in. I feel like they change my running form completely, and I really got out of wanting to run because I got too into the mindset of like perfecting form and having to do it a certain way, and I was less about listening to my body. And I've been really struggling to get back into running for a while, or to even kind of make it a consistent thing, for about 75 different reasons. Number one being, I feel like there's so much stigma around running and becoming obsessed with running, and like there's a very strong narrative that feels almost like counterintuitive to me, because my thought is I don't want to like put all this effort into something I can't consistently do. I always hear people talking about like getting injured with running or feeling almost like codependent with running. Like people really get into that space with that, and the more I just like watched it from the outside, nothing about it has made me want to become a consistent runner, because all I just see is people talking about running and having all these issues. So in the expectation of you have to run this way in order to be considered a runner, in order to do all of these things, then all of these people who are doing all of that and living that way are injured and dealing with serious injuries, and it just seems like a never-ending cycle. And so I've kind of watched it long enough to be at the point now in the last like few weeks where I can just find myself being able to check out of that narrative a little bit more, because I'm just like, that doesn't feel healthy to me. That doesn't feel like the best version of this. There feels like there could be a better way to do that. And we're gonna be trying a new app today, partly because of that. There is I'm not sure what he is, but it's a conversation I've seen a little bit more, kind of talking about a specific coach who's worked with tons of athletes that they essentially prioritize interval running, and even like having 30-second rests in the way that it helps with recovery, how it actually keeps your mile time up. There's a lot of just kind of evidence-based, and I think because I've been very subtly wanting to get back into running, I always find that this time of the year I want to do that. I feel like there's a strength and kind of an inner push that comes with running, because you're really having to check in with your mental balances. But also when you're in a really good run and it feels like you're flying, there's just like a whole different level of just experience there going on. So normally at this time of the year I will do two things. Number one, I will set up some kind of sunscreen subscription in my like Amazon subscribe and save. I'm not gonna change how my top is situated right now. It is not the best, but it's not gonna matter. And then I am going to throw on this little vest. I love this guy so much. Did I just pop it on upside down? Of course I did. That is where we're at the moment. Okay, outfit is situated. I love this vest from My Protein because it has shorter pockets. My phone fits here and it's easy to get to. I feel like the stuff that I've worked with before, I've really struggled with the fact that it felt like I couldn't actually get into my pockets when I was running. But I will say I am not running as long. I'm kind of doing short runs, and I find that especially when I first kind of started using this vest, that I needed to actually fill the water smaller, because too much water was actually giving me weirder posture and it was hurting me in my shoulders. So we're situated. I keep my sunscreen going. A lot of times if I'm going through a phase of really being into running, I will make sure that I'm wearing more like full UPF tops, and that lessens my sunscreen, but it also just makes sure that I'm really protecting my skin. I live obviously in a very sunshine state land, so protecting my skin is very necessary, and it's nice to know that all of the little spots on my back, anywhere that I could be worried about, is going to be protected. So we're going to keep it light and breezy today, but I have to say I adore this. I'm wearing the Tella running leggings, which I do really like. I find that these have the tie at the top. It took me a little bit to kind of get used to them. Probably could use the chafing gel today, but we're going to kind of go with the vibe. And honestly, these shoes are so comfortable. Like, this is probably one of the most comfortable running outfits I could use and wear, and it's something that's perfect. Plus, doing the visor over sunglasses, because I like to try to get some natural sunlight in my eyes. It helps with your circadian rhythm. It helps make like your sleep cycle better. It helps with lowering stress. So this is the way that I can do that, and I find that it just makes a big difference for me. So I haven't really chatted with you guys today, and this bang situation is slowly going out of control. Also, pause. We might need to change our tripod situation. Normally I think I place you on top of my setting spray, and right now you are not there. So I hope you're enjoying your little adventure. You're on top of the extra level of things. Is that better suited? Yes, that's the better angle. I was using my jewelry case. I'm gonna talk about this and I'm gonna set it down. So I haven't really vlogged today, and I thought I was going to, and I'm still formulating what this vlog will look like this week. But what I'm finding is happening is that, honestly, I'm so excited about this. I made a quick little faux recipe tonight, and faux or pho or however you want to say it, in a like not maybe the most traditional sense, but what I'm doing this week and what I've been kind of vlogging separately is I've been really taking some time to kind of check in with my why again, and why I'm doing this, and what I want to be doing, and what I actually want to be creating, and what I believe that I'm allowed to do, and just kind of clearing the space for the best version of this, and to remove doubt, and to have, and this applies for every area, not just for people who are, you know, creating content online, but I was taking the time to kind of just explore that and really check in with myself, because it's been a while since I've done that, and I find that when I don't do that, I either stay stagnant, or in the way that I've kind of been feeling, I've had like no motivation. But I've been kind of taking the space and time this week to just check in with myself and focus on what I actually want to be creating and how I actually want to be creating it. Hello, are you coming to visit? And that often means for me, and this is something I'm still working on, is that I find myself in a place of just really kind of pulling back, trying to be more mindful about not releasing everything and like thought-wise while it's still processing, and I'm kind of letting myself reflect and have the conversations of stuff that maybe I haven't wanted to or haven't looked at, or just really giving myself the space to kind of voice things. And so I find that I have to get myself to a place, and it's the most helpful and authentic and just the best version of this, if I get myself to a place where it feels like, oh my gosh, I have to share that. Like I need to grab my camera. I have to share that. So I got to that point today. This afternoon specifically. I'm waiting for him. He's looking for my food right now. I'm waiting for him to decide he wants to leave. Do you want to go back out? Go on. Go. Go on. Come on. Let's go. He's not going to leave because he knows I have food. That being said, part of what happens for me when I do this, when I'm digging for limiting beliefs, when I am putting a lot of pressure on myself, when I find that the stress is like almost like a vibration in my body, like I can feel it externally, I have certain things that are really kind of helpful in helping me calm myself systemically so that I can also maybe take a step back from stuff. And I'm really trying to not push myself to that level. I've done it twice in a way that's been very, I don't know if extreme's the right word, but in a way that showed me that like it's very toxic to my body. Like I've caused my brain to swell at one point, and I've also, you know, I talked about like working with a nutritionist last year. I essentially caused the calcium to move from the essential places that it needed to be in my body because my body wasn't processing stress. And so in doing that, one of the things that I found is really helpful, and kind of taking little pieces from Chinese medicine, which I feel like would be so beneficial to do a deeper dive into, is I reach for something that's warming. I reach for something that essentially warms from within. And one of the things that I like to make is pho. So I will order it, but we honestly have a lot of bits in the kitchen, and I just thought I really need to use up like these 17 things. So we will do some variation of it. And the version I used is actually really simple. I scaled it down to make like a 1-portion recipe. I'll leave it in the description box below if you want it, because it was just a nice way to use up what we had. I'm using some potato noodles because it's not authentic. Yeah, I know you're angry. I'm gonna eat my dinner. Do you want to go out? How many times am I gonna ask him? He really wants my food. But something that my nutritionist kind of talked about, I think in some of her social media content last year, it was saying that for a lot of people who, we talk about all these different wellness trends, and there's so many different wellness trends, that cold plunging is, you know, so popular. But if your body is already in that stress response state, and that's not necessarily helping you to manage the stress, it might actually be more detrimental to your body. And she talked about it a little bit, especially if you're somebody who uses an Oura ring and can see your temperature in the morning, kind of seeing the range of, oh, if it's below this, it's probably not ideal for you to be doing this. Now, I'm sure there are other caveats, and like we all run at different kind of temperatures, but I wanted to include this in the vlog this week because this, for me, when I am really just, I can feel the stress inside my body, I try to reach for warming drinks. I try to reach for things that are going to warm me from within and kind of reset me, whether or not it's balancing the yin and the yang of things. Again, I don't know all the specifics. I've listened to little bits over the years, but I found that something that kind of tapped in for me in the last year was when I was feeling those days of just, and it's probably, you know, when we're sick, why we want soup. There's that like comfort in it, and our body needs the extra nourishment to slow down, to feel itself kind of healing, to feel that comfort in like inside. So I love this recipe. It is quite simple. It's a little bit time consuming because you have to let it simmer for a while, but once I did the upfront stuff, it didn't take a long amount of time. So I'm gonna enjoy that tonight. Distracted from the morning routine, but let's go make our matcha. here is actually panning behind the camera. But we did a little breakfast moment with some Greek yogurt, some of the Bon reserves that I put inside of my matcha, and then I'm trying a new granola this morning that has like freeze-dried strawberries in it. So it's adding a little bit of color. Is it your breakfast time too? It's fun. It gives a nice bit of crunch. Do you want to say good morning? I'm just filming what I think it's going to be the first episode back of the podcast, but I wanted to, the pillow pile, we got to deal with it. I wanted to show you guys the hair today because it's looking a little bit better, and I used the good old fashioned wavy talk. I applied for the sample for the other one that doesn't have the tool separating bit. I'm curious to see how that goes, but I feel like it's really good at kind of pulling tension and bringing that back to the roots and finessing the bangs. It's not necessarily going to be the smoothest on the ends. I feel like that was a little chaotic today, but any area I felt like my roots were just a little bit greasy or a little bit just flat, I really got a lot of tension in there with that, and it made a big difference to kind of give me a little bit of life on this hair day. But oh my gosh, I forgot what it's like to talk for 40 minutes straight. All right, let's go find some food, and then we're gonna do a home workout today. I'm very excited to do a home workout. I had a moment earlier and I talked about it in the podcast episode, but I'm very much somebody who has a fear of being trapped in my life, of just feeling stuck or feeling trapped, or feeling like I am contained in a way that I don't want to be contained, and like I have no other options. That is a big thing for me. And I was thinking about my workout today because we canceled the gym membership, although technically I can still use it for another month. We're not going to do that. But the at-home workout situation, when I spend a lot of time at home, it can feel really like, oh my God, I am so stuck in this house. Like I'm not doing anything different. Even when I go in a different room, it will just trigger me. And something that helps me kind of get out of that is I took a second to ask myself, like, I know that I don't want to run today. I wore an outfit specifically not for running because this sports bar is not a running one. Even just giving myself the option to be like, well, do you want to do your workout outside? And I thought, no, I don't think so. But like, it was enough to give myself the option of doing it somewhere else that helped me snap out of it. So if you're feeling kind of like, oh, I don't want to do this thing, and you know that you want to do it, but there's something underneath it where you're just feeling like a little bit triggered around it, flip the question and see if there's another space in which you can do it, or give yourself that reminder that you don't have to do it in that way by asking that question, and check in and give yourself another option and see, because that's something that I struggle with. But oh my goodness, I think we've already looked at these in the vlog, but they don't look nearly as pretty on camera, as pretty as they are, and they look stunning right now, but they just are so big and beautiful, and they're kind of something that we're known for, I guess. I think it's a southern thing. Normally in the past we used to have the azalea trail, which was as southern as you can think of it. It was like Gone with the Wind dresses and girls on at different yards, and it was a whole thing. But I think they got rid of that after the hurricane, and now I've been seeing everybody's azalea bushes in their yard, and some neighbors who have like a couple of different colors and they're all lined up, and it looks so pretty. Just love it. But okay, food, we need to make a Target run, and then we're gonna do a full body workout today. I bumped it up to an hour for the app. I am trying to finesse the little details of fixing things that work better for running, like little workouts there, like doing ab specific days. We're kind of getting back into that flow. Filming this and acknowledging that I'm creating wellness content again is helpful for me to actually do that. I think that not feeling like a wellness blogger for a while has pulled me out of that routine, but I'm really glad to be back with it. I'm glad to be in this era of it. I'm very excited about it, and I'm really hopeful that we get to have a beautiful future in this platform. Also, the makeup, I just love this lip. Guys, I'm living for the little things today. The nails, all of the things, but really I need a snack. I'm hungry.